Hello everyone and welcome to this sorry, no programming. Oh yeah, I actually got my cola here. Yeah. No programming today. I'm actually very tired. And oh yeah, the foot is still hurting. Actually a bit more today than yesterday due to dumb factors. But oh well. I have new pain medication. So and it's applied. So over the course of the stream, we hopefully will rate how good topical diclofenac is working compared to oral ibuprofen. Then again, I think diclofenac and ibuprofen are kind of like similar in how they work. So, but yeah. Oh yeah, fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck this too. Oh yeah, big. I'm just going to chill a bit out because like I wanted to program today, but like again with foot hurting and exhaustion, I don't think I'm gonna produce anything sensible today. It'll be fun. Yeah, I have some topical shit now. I do hope it's gonna work. Or I'm sure if I maybe need to up the doses later. There we go. Okay, yeah. You know, okay, so everyone who wonders what happened, I went out for the first time in over a week, and turns out, ouch. I think that's the correct word for it, ouch. So, in some parts it definitely helped, but I still feel like my foot is still like in a big healing phase, so god damn it. So yeah, I'm actually kind of happy I have some. Oh, it's actually, I think it's working. Oh. It's numbing a bit. That's the point. Yeah, that's just kind of interesting because, okay, let me just put it like this. It takes some time because I think this is probably similar to like, because, you know, oral ibuprofen kind of needs like half an hour to work. This one seems to be faster, but
Yeah. Our
it's
program needs to work through your gut to get to your receptors.
yeah, it's just kind of interesting to feel like the difference between, you know, it's in the gut, it's receptors, and then it feels like, as you said, it's just like fogs the, like it numbs them down or fogs the pain depending on how strong it is. And this was more like, oh, I feel like my skin gets number and then it slowly sinks. That's an interesting feeling. I do not know if that's actually like the best way. But I'm just kind of happy I don't need to you know, scrounge for our how's it called, oral ibuprofen anymore. Yeah, that's very interesting. Huh. Definitely feels like it works a bit faster. Maybe not as strong as I hoped it would as of now. So maybe that is... Huh. Maybe that's part of the whole... You know what? I'm very happy that this pain relief cream is like works for like 3 years. Because I will definitely use this more if I have other muscle pains. And for you too, if you have muscle pains. There it gets nicer. Okay, yeah. Ooh.
We are moving on Delta.
Yeah, I'm like... It's just a fascinating feeling. Hope everyone else had at least an enjoyable day today. Wait, I need to unlock you. No more controller. Maybe I should have also jumped into a car. Hello. Go into the infantry. Let's go into the infantry section. What's the worst that can happen? What is the worst? See? Can I have a kill? Oh. What the fuck would happen? And we have a takedown. Again, necessary. Wouldn't be a good stream if I don't knife someone. Oh, the crane is coming down? So surprised they have not remade downtown if they had that. Maybe it's still coming, who knows? I seriously hope they do not rework downtown. That would be stupid. Whew. Didn't see that one. Oh, you know, didn't see them fast enough. That's unfair. Can I? Go. Obviously, someone from behind. Oh. Still appears sometimes though when I, move the foot, but it's definitely dampened to a good degree, I would say. Just nice. Yeah, I would say if you have muscle problems, topical diclofenac seems actually pretty good. Damn. Almost had this one. There we go. I don't know if that is definitely my favorite type of pain. Like, okay, I have to be honest with you. I was actually skeptical if topical pain, really cream would actually work. And there's just this a bit, it felt always a bit, but I work out this out. Works actually pretty well. So yeah, I do recommend. painting things. Oh, yeah. I hope this art and story will, with the food, will definitely and be over soon. Because it's annoying. You, don't push the guy away from me! I have mines! Okay, that was worth it. Sadly killed me as well, but I don't care. Yep. Oh, we might have a Bradley. Oh, why not, actually? Do some tanking. Yeah, bees can kill helicopters if they hit good well enough. And hi, bot. I mean, I should probably get some more main ammunition back. And wait! I can't try for shit. Wait, boss. Go. Yeah, attacking D. Nope. Not under my watch. Okay, where are you? Where are you? Okay, they are not attacking D, I guess. Good. I don't think I need to get worried about be, but... Yeah, saw you. That went actually rather well. I think I haven't put on a lot of tanking in recent streams, so that's something. Okay, kind of interesting. I do think I might. You could have maybe put on a little bit more because I still feel it in some spots.
Okay.
It's not against you.
Let's do that later.
Yeah, nothing against you. It's just an observation of yeah. This kind of still hurts a little, but I don't know if I can even make it ever so that it doesn't hurt. So it's more the problem.
I know.
Okay. Yeah. Did some tanking last round, and I even killed a helicopter with AFV.
Nice.
It was a very stupid helicopter. It flew there, and then it was like, oh, I'm turning, and then I was like, okay. Dead.
Nearly as good as my Stuck kill.
Stuck kill? Oh yeah, right. With when we played War Thunder and you played the Sturmgeschütz, and there was like this one plane coming down, you're like, okay. Like you do, like I'm gonna be on, just for everyone who doesn't know, Stuck 3 was it, I think, or Stuck 4. Sturmgeschütz was a German tank hunter in World War II. So basically, this is just a big, like, most tanks are turrets on, a chassis. This one is just big cannon on a chassis. It can look in one direction, aim a bit up and down, but that's it.
Left, right also, but
It's
but very minimally. But lots of things aligned. Like I was on an incline, or at least it was close by, so I could just pull my front upwards more, so I could hit it.
Yeah, I mean, some people even say this was technically more self-propelled artillery to a degree.
Technically.
But, I mean, it's also not really artillery, even though it's also a big cannon, so who cares, actually?
It's a big cannon that moves. That's it.
Yeah, point. Honestly, I am missing the vehicle concept of just big gun on wheels. Like, I know, technically, we have the main battle tank for that. I get it. Makes sense. Completely logical. Even better. Counterpoint. Expensive. Not even that fast. Also, it is funny. Like,
Stucks are cute.
What?
Stucks are cute.
Stucks are very cute. They're just very, flat especially. But I mean, that's also because, they didn't want to, how's it called? They wanted to make it so that enemies cannot spot them really easily. Hey Zareth, how are the pain medication ratings? Okay, so currently having topical diclofenac, and like the last, it's still like evening out like oral ibuprofen. And I would say topical diclofenac is working. Probably need to have more on it on my leg though. Actually, pretty solid. I would say if you have like muscle pains, this is like actually this could be ATM medication. Just like you can put it where you need it. Oh.
Your liver doesn't have to filter it.
Yeah, the liver doesn't have to filter it. It just goes where it needs to be, and that's nice. That's just very, very nice actually. So yeah, I would say topical diclofenac, kind of an ATM thing. Should use more of it though next time around. And also, you know, my foot is kind of hurting a bit because I kind of limped to the pharmacy today and grabbed some pain medication because we were running out. Like, we were this morning we literally only had like 2 400 milligram tablets of pills of ibuprofen, and no, that wouldn't have been enough. So now we have a whole package again. But I would say topical diclofenac, good, works. I feel like just you need more than you probably expect to. Yeah, it was kind of needed. Like, it kind of sucks because, you know, now, okay, so definitely, parts of my foot swole a bit during that, so there's, like, a bit of a hematome. But, upside, I have enough shit to cook again during the weekend. Even something very, exquisite. And yeah, we actually have pain medication, because not having pain medication was just oops, we should have planned that a bit longer ahead, but we have it now. So yeah, I would say topical diclofenac, if you have muscle pains in any of your you know, legs, etc. Good, very good. ATM medication works. But yeah, if we go through pain you know what? Let's rank some pain medication, because I took some and I have some experience. Yeah, topical diclofenac, again, it's specialized, but it does its specialization pretty well, and like there are enough pains in, you know, legs, arms, etc., like just muscle pains. Perfect for that. Okay? Good. Ibuprofen, 400 milligram or upwards, who cares? Like, you can get them for 600, 800, but... Or just take 2 400 at once. Like, no one's stopping you from that. I think we can say ibuprofen is kind of like, S-tier pain medication. Like, we know it has, so recent studies have shown that there might be more downsides if you actually take above the daily recommendation, but even then, not a lot. So like, for something that works this well on nearly any, you know, pain, you know, it's against pain, it's against swelling, it just generally works. It's also just, you know, you can just buy it. Nice. It's very easy to dose. Nice. You know, no real side effects, and it can leave the body, you know, really good. So again, you can still get problems, but it's hard to do it with ibuprofen, I would say. So like, yeah, I'd say if you need a pain medication, 100 milligrams of ibuprofen is actually like really fucking good. You know? Oh. Yeah. So we have this. Next pain medication. Acetylsalicylic acid. Or
acetylsalicylic.
Acetylsalicylic.
Okay.
Salicylic acid, I think, is it called. Or, in short, aspirin. So probably everyone is like, oh, aspirin. Amazing, right? Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Aspirin is alright. I say I give it a B tier. I know this is something that is actually given out, especially, you know, I think in the USA you can actually buy it at a kiosk. Like, here in Germany you still need to buy it from a pharmacy. But like, I think in the US you can actually buy it like in normal shops at like very low dosages, which is, I would generally say this is not bad and should actually be adopted more widely. It's not dumb. Also, like, you can still get it at a pharmacy, so like, yeah. Problem is, aspirin is good. Okay? Let me put it like this. Aspirin does its job. It has some... over the counter in, like, things that are not pharmacies. I heard that. Which, because, like, you can also buy ibuprofen or aspirin without a without a prescription here in Germany. It's just they are only allowed to be sold in pharmacies. Like, they're just, like, clear rules, like, for example, everything that works as a medication has to be sold in a pharmacy. Or, you know, if you get any type of lotion that is like, that has any effect beneath like the first skin layer, again, also needs to be sold at the pharmacy, by the way. This is why all the good shit, that actually works, that actually works for like skincare, at least here, you have to buy in a pharmacy. So actually, kind of thing. Okay, aspirin though. Aspirin is a good one, but I would only say it is a B tier one due to a few things. Because I think a lot of people think aspirin is actually pain medication when it's not. Like, I mean, that might sound weird because you're like, wait, but it helps with pain. It does. And that's why it's mainly advertised for. And it's correct, it relieves pain. But here's the irony. Aspirin is not relieving pain in the way most people probably think it does. Which is probably also the reason why it can be sold this easily in a lot of countries. See, aspirin is kind of the same as Viagra. Like, you know, with Viagra, they tried to find something against low blood pressure and then realized, ooh, it makes the penis go big. Which then led to the very funny scene in Dr. House where he had to explain to a dipshit insurance person, like, why did you prescribe Viagra to a woman? And he's like, and he's just like, she had low blood pressure, and they were like, oh, but you could give nitroglycerin, which is just like, Hey, by the way, it's kind of insane that we still prescribe nitroglycerin against low blood pressure when Viagra is a thing. But also, he was like, yeah, but she can't take that due to a lot of factors. So, anyway, dumb shit. The thing is, aspirin. Aspirin is a blood thinner. And due to that, actually a pretty solid pain medication in most cases. But it's not really a pain medication. Let me tell you, like
it partially functions as one.
Partially, like
you cannot really clearly put aspirin into boxes. Like it reduces pain.
Yeah, it reduces
also reduces fever, inflammation, and you can use it as an antithrombotic.
Yeah, so it does all those things, just not as good as ibuprofen. But the big, I think the biggest difference is, ibuprofen is something that locks onto your pain receptors and docks onto your pain receptors and blocks pain. Ow. So that's why, stuff like ibuprofen and diclofenac, etc. works. It, pain receptors gets blocked. The thing is, aspirin is, again, it is a blood thinner, so that's also why you're not supposed to take it in certain moments, because problems. Like, for example, I actually have like a hematome right now. Something where people would say, do not take an aspirin. Like, it's probably not the worst for me, but it would maybe make problems there worse, because again, blood thinner. However, what are the most common headaches? Ever thought about that? Like, how do headaches work? Like, the most common type. Actually, pretty interesting, because it is a swelling of the brain. That's unfortunate, and that's literally, by the way, what usually happens. Like, it swells, and the swelling then pushes onto, pain receptors, and then those pain receptors are like, ow, 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 bad. So, aspirin. You take then an aspirin, and the thing that happens is your blood gets thinner, so it actually flows better through the swelling. It also helps against swelling. And oh boy, suddenly it just relieves pressure. Meaning, interestingly, aspirin actually, at least when it's a swelling causing it in your brain, actually does not dock onto any pain receptors and blocks pain. It actually, tunes down the source of the pain. Which is kind of interesting if you think about it, right? But this is also why it doesn't work on everything. It's specialized, it's good, it has basically no downsides, it can be used for a lot of things, actually. But it's not really a pain medication. It just relieves pain in certain cases. It is. That's, by the way, if you have a strong headache, and if it's due to swelling, if you take an aspirin, and, by the way, also drink, for example, something with caffeine, like cola, like I do, the thing is, cola increases your blood flow, and aspirin thins your blood. So actually, it just flushes your system really, really fast. Don't take this as advice, though. It works. I'm not a doctor, okay? This is not medical advice. It's just a fun fact if you want to ever speed up the effect of an aspirin. That's why I would say BT medication works. It works on what it does, but yeah, it's not really a pain medication if you need something against pain. Take this as advice. Can't wait to mess with my medical care based on this. Oh my god. Listen! I even would say, I'm the best advice giver. You should always double check what I say. But also, like, you know, rather take some cosmetic advice from me than medical advice. This is just a fun fact of... by the way, this is actually also the case why if you just have a slight headache, drinking something caffeinated actually helps with the headache. Yeah, because, you know, if your blood flows a bit faster, this actually can just help relieve some swelling. And if the swelling is gone, well, you know, the pain is gone. Fun fact. Yeah, though, that's the thing. You just need to be, it just need to be clear. This is why aspirin is like the thing against headaches, because again, it's like really good against one thing and some side parts, but yeah, you better be sure you know what you're taking it for. Okay. You know what? Let's move on to the next big one. Paracetamol, actually. Paracetamol is, in my opinion, an A-tier pain medication. Like, don't get me wrong. Paracetamol is like banger pain relief. Period. Works. The thing is that, you know, it lowers fever. It is really, really good against, you know, at blocking pain. Helps really well against swelling, etc. It's like, yeah, paracetamol in terms of function, great. You're probably now thinking, okay, why is paracetamol not in S tier then? If it's just basically sounding like a souped-up ibuprofen. Well, remember the point where I said ibuprofen, as long as you do not overdo it, doesn't really have any downsides. So here's the thing. You should not take that much paracetamol, and it's being applied way too much nowadays. Because two things. Both of the, like, ibuprofen and paracetamol are getting, you know, reduced from the body, like, they're taking out of the body via your liver. The big difference is ibuprofen is relatively fast. So, you know, as long as you're not overdoing it over like 800 milligrams, like, you can do it in some cases. Again, when it's really, really, really bad and you only have ibuprofen at hand, that works. But if you don't overdo it, like 800 milligrams, and then have enough time between it, like 6 to 8 hours, and drink enough, this ibuprofen flushes out of your system. You have to kind of force it. Paracetamol, on the other hand, well, it kind of stays to a degree in your liver, okay? Not fully. It is never completely removed, okay? That's a big thing. And every body only has a certain amount of paracetamol you can take in your life, technically. That is, by the way, not small, okay? And some will be slowly, you know, removed over time. So, like, if you haven't taken that in, like, a long time, you won't have stuff like that in your liver. But, again, this makes it more often. You should probably have it around, and I think if I ever go to the pharmacy again, I might actually get a bit of it. Because again, if push comes to shove, this is like the best pain medication, or oh hey, someone is spiking a really hard fever. Absolutely take it. That's what it's for. And it's really good at solving that. But don't take it like ibuprofen as some people do. We have ibuprofen for ibuprofen. Paracetamol is like really, really good, like the really strong stuff, but it also is basically you take it in emergency cases. Stop. Not well, I have a headache, time to pop some paracetamol, I guess. Again, if your doctor says you should take it. Again, it's good. But be aware that it definitely has stronger side effects, and you can take too much more easily than other pain medications. So just be aware of that. Okay? Otherwise, yeah, 8 here. Solid. What do we have? Oh yeah, you know what? We had a topical, and there it works. Like, I'm currently having it, and it's definitely like, hey, again, consider that I limped for nearly 2 hours in the cold. Topical diclofenac is actually doing a really good job. But we also have oral diclofenac. An interesting thing here. So diclofenac kind of is similar to ibuprofen. I'm very sure diclofenac is not ibuprofen, by the way. You can Google again, but I don't think diclofenac is ibuprofen. It just works similar. You said it works similar, right?
It's the same class of medication.
It's kind of similar class, and I think it's a bit stronger than ibuprofen. But it's not, paracetamol, so like... I think the biggest upside of why you could have it is, again, if you have a problem with ibuprofen. So, like, again, pretty useful. Like, you also just have, like, 50 milligram tablets. Like, that's interesting if you think about it. Ibuprofen, you need 400 milligrams, and this one is, like... I think this one is kind of the equivalent of a 400 milligram.
I don't know. I know different things.
I know it worked for you.
Yes.
And it was pretty painful for what you used it.
Yes.
And I'm just saying, diclofenac, also pretty good pain medication, I would say. It's just, I don't know if you can probably rate it more, also roughly like 8 here.
It's a problem. Like actual medicine, there isn't much tier listing to be done. They're very good for the right purpose.
That's the thing, yeah. This is a bit of a joke thing. Like, I mean, saying, oh, aspirin is a B tier pain medication, but I think it's
then you take sugar and homeopathy and put it in F tier.
Okay, let me be clear here. Okay,
Yeah.
Sugar is a pain medication.
Technically.
An emotional pain medication.
But it's not that good at it.
Yeah, fair. I just want... Hey.
But if we're talking about normal pain medication, sugar isn't good for pain. And whatever you dilute it with, it also isn't good.
Yeah. But yeah, I would say diclofenac is like, let me just put it like this. It's good that we have something that is in the same class as ibuprofen. Because, again, if someone has a problem with one or the other pain medication, you can take the other. That's fantastic. Good thing, modern science, that you found more than one pain medication. Like, imagine if we still lived in times where we didn't have pain medication. Or just very dangerous, actually.
Like a mullet.
Mullet? A mallet. No. So okay.
No.
No. Mullet. Sorry, mullets are different. Mullets are something.
Sure that there are also things called mullets.
There are mallets with A, and mullets are a type of hairstyle.
No. Maybe they say it wrong. Mullet toy. There. Yeah. Look.
Okay. Interesting that they write it with U. I'm very sure this is a mullets are hair and mallets are like hammers. At least Seraph says that. But yeah, some people on Google say also say mullet to the hammer. So
I heard that. Maybe it's a dialect or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
But it's even rare to find, like, if you search for it. So I assume that at the very least in general, mullets are hair and mallets are hammers.
Oh, by the way, you know what? If we since I brought this one up, by the way, fun fact, time for a bit of history. Medieval times were really not the Dark Ages as a lot of people put it. The Resident Evil mullet was like, yeah, that could be.
That could also be.
Because like here's the thing, a lot of time, like in a lot of Victorian age times, people were like, oh, it's the Dark Ages, you know.
Victorian times aren't the Dark Ages.
No, during Victorian times they were like, oh, the medieval times were the Dark Ages. Well, because they were so uncivilized and oh my god, I'm getting blinded. I still kill people. Anyway, the thing is though, you know, there's a good video by I think, how was she called again? There's a YouTube channel, but like she made a good video. There was a good video on YouTube about, you know, why why medieval times were actually 2 degree a step forward from Roman times. And funny enough, I kind of want to add to that. Actually, medical you know, medical praxis in medieval times, you know, in monasteries and also a bunch of, you know, doctors, was actually better than in Roman times. Like, okay, nowadays we all talk about, you know, leeches and so, and that happened.
Leeches can be useful.
But like, the thing is that being a doctor in medieval times was actually a pretty well, you know, like it was a pretty good position, and they knew some shit that ironically got lost, you know, with time. Like, for example, I think we all know the, you know, big story of how was he called? I think Zemmer something in Austria, like at the Vienna hospital, was like, wow, so many women are dying from childbirth because, you know, they got basically got a disease that was called birthing. I don't know what it's called, but basically back in the
birthing sickness. It's
birthing sickness. Yeah. The thing is, they all were like, oh, only women can have that. That's just the thing, okay? But what he noticed was, he saw someone doing a surgery on someone who was before that in how's it called, in the where you do autopsies, and afterwards that man was dying of birthing sickness, and so he was like, wait, maybe we've all just been kind of misogynistic all the time. Wow, good observation, by the way.
That's usually the answer, though.
Because he's like, okay, if a guy can have it, it's not just an inherent thing, but something else. And so he was like, actually made a study of, and it's kind of important, Like, he specifically, and I know, the ethics violations are coming roaring in now. He basically, because he was like the chief of staff, made it so that in one wing, women who gave birth were giving birth by the hands of, doctors that also did autopsies, etc. Autopsies and surgeries. And in the other wing, he only let it be done by midwives, who usually were a lot more clean and didn't do autopsies and other shit. And turns out, wow, the death rate was shockingly low in the, in the ones with the, how's it called, midwife sector. So he was like, okay, let's do this, let's do the same thing for, all the doctors, and turns out, wow, the rates plummeted so hard, by the way, that he was like, yeah, we should just do that. And you know what's funny? He got put into an asylum for that. Yeah, they basically just were like, no, you're insane, that can't be the case. A few years later, after he died, someone, germ theory spread around, everyone was like, oh shit! Washing hands might have been useful. But you know what's interesting? Washing hands was common practice back in medieval times. If not, if not with soap. And by the way, soaps were a thing. Like, for example, like an interesting thing that a lot of people do not know is actually that Vikings actually produced a lot of soap from chestnuts. It was like not the best one, but it was a very, very mild soap. And here's the thing. Vikings loved bathing. And if you ever wonder why Vikings in medieval paintings or, in the talk were always depicted as, these, epic sort of like long hair, because they washed their hair with soap. They just had better hair than everyone else because they kept themselves clean. And they used soap to style their hair also. Yeah, fun fact. But yeah.
Probably scrub their scalp with it.
Yeah, scrub their scalp. And they also used like a really mild one to like actually use it like a gel, a styling gel. So that's a thing, by the way. But yeah, in medieval times, washing hands before doing anything was common practice. Kind of wild to think about it, right? I mean, yeah, for a lot of them, it was just like, well, you have dirt on your hands, you better wash it, because you have dirt on your hands. So, But actually, this was kind of an important thing to do. Also, medieval doctors were not just, sawing off legs or something. Like, actually, they had a lot of practices. Like, for example, if you broke your bone, they stretched it and put it in like, they put you into stretchers. They have, what's the thing called again, where you can walk with? The walking aids. Walking aids were a thing. Crutches? Crutches were a thing, by the way.
Some types of crutches.
Yeah, some types of crutches were a thing. So, yeah. Actually, they didn't just let you die. And I think one of the most interesting things you will probably ever learn is, at least in Central Europe, and again, it could be that this was also the case in England. Henry VIII. Anyway, The thing is that if you actually look at how's it called? They actually had pain medication. Yeah, I know. There was pain medication during medieval times. Sounds probably a bit wild, but you're probably now wondering, okay, how did they have pain medication in medieval times? Oh, and you know, why never heard of it? Because it wasn't used that much. And for good reasons, actually. Let me explain. The thing is, they used poisonous berries. Now that isn't dumb, as many might think. Actually quite the opposite, because like, yeah, poisonous berries can actually numb, because that's a thing poison does, you know? Like, let's just be real here. 2-degree pain medication is a type of poison. The thing is just that you need to adjust the dosage really, really well. And this is why they didn't use it that much, because they were like, you know, if I can actually, you know, fix your foot while you're, you know, just have like a block of wood between your teeth, fine. That's actually better. Like, you know, that and alcohol, that works. Because like, let me just be clear. Alcohol in high doses and, you know, bite blocks, those were safer. But again, they knew how to make a form of pain medication if it was too bad. It's just, you know, one of those, you know, you need to know when to use it, because I mean, listen, if your choice is, okay, you can relieve pain, but there's a chance of missed dosage and death, what are you gonna do? What is your call as a doctor? Because you do not want to let someone die. So you actually have to be like, is this risk worth it of using or not?
We're about to take full control of the battlefield. Stay on target.
Yeah. Small little fun fact about medieval times. And by the way, that's stuff they didn't actually use during Roman times. So yeah, you were just kind of worse off if you were living in Roman times. I mean, hell, if you're a woman, you would have been worse off anyway, because the Romans hated women. Let's just be real here. Like, later at least, you know, in medieval times, you know, you actually had people have names being records. Like you could even ascend to become queen of a country and rule. Didn't happen everywhere, but like it could happen, you know? Like, interestingly, yeah, medieval times were to a degree a step forward in a lot of ways. Anything you want to talk about?
Demon King's confession goes now.
Oh, there's a new chapter?
There's a new chapter.
How gay is it?
It's very gay.
We know for sure how people lived in Roman times. Most large, but that was actually it turns out we do know about a good amount of stuff. But the thing is just there is a lot of romanticization. Because like we can actually piece together a lot. Like the differences between Roman times and medieval times were actually not that different. It's just that okay, so an interesting thing is about Roman times that we can say there was a certain amount of technological stagnation. By the way, if you want to know why I know a lot about Roman times, I literally lived on top of an old Roman village on a central trade route. So the interesting thing is that actually the medieval times had a lot of technological progress. So there was definitely a difference in art and how, things were expressed. Because, let me be clear, the biggest difference is there was less, how's it called, there was just like less I'm kind of stupid right now. And there was less scarcity. Like, if there was, for example, in one part of the empire just, oh, we don't have enough food. Oh yeah, we can just transport some in from another part. Like, again, the Romans had, like, a gigantic trade empire. That's part one. That's also why the Romans were able to build so much with stone. Because, comparatively, because a big difference is that, like, as much as you still have built stuff locally, from some local quarries, etc. Again, if you want to have stone, you need to have quarries. Quarries are very hard labor. And you need to people to, prepare, transport, and know how to use that stone. When in Roman times, not the biggest problem. Again, the Romans were a big trade empire, and most of their stuff was near the ocean. So even if you lived in Britain, a ship could just sail upwards and bring you cheap stone. That was just possible, period. Thing is though, if you want to, in medieval times, well, that trade route is gone. So, less stone buildings. Keep in mind, people still build insanely impressive shit, just on different terms. So, but also a big key thing I think a lot of people underestimate is just, like, what we know of Rome nowadays. And we have records of that because it was routinely a problem in Rome. Rome was a slave empire. Like, period. This doesn't mean, that Rome, to a big degree, didn't want to have people in there. The thing is just, how Rome was run basically required you to have a big disposable workforce. It wasn't as bad, quote unquote, as some later instances of slavery, but it still wasn't good, and it was still very, very bad. But the thing is, this is why you, for example, have shit like, for example, how does a mill work in Rome? I know because, I actually been to one. Because, again, they kind of rebuilt the town where I grew up. They started rebuilding all of it. So the interesting thing about a mill in Roman times was, first of all, their flour was of solid quality, but not the best. And the grindstone was still similar to that of medieval times. But medieval grindstones were actually bigger. And could also, medieval mills could produce more. So how? Because here's the thing. Romans, in most cases, simply went, put down a grindstone, slapped a wooden bar over it, and then told some people to turn it. And you know what? You didn't need more. Sure, in some regions, I think for example, I think in southern France, there was probably the first quote-unquote industrial flour mill that they built during Roman times. Industrial, like in the literal sense of it had like 5 to 6 levels and was actually water powered, so that technology was there. But again, most people in Rome were just like, we can just slap 1 or 2 people in and they can do that. Or a donkey. Now, in medieval times, a lot of people were just like, you know, you had less workforce. Just period. That's, by the way, why a lot of stuff refocused, because less trade routes, everything is more local. Suddenly you have to put nearly everyone on, you know, well, producing food. Meaning that while in during Roman times they were able to, you know, in the beginning of Rome, this was still more than, we still need to do this more on our own. So they did improve that. But the moment Rome got really big, this was just like, we could invent new methods or throw more people at it. Which is especially a good thing to do if you just have, you know, the concept of owning people. You know, this isn't good. It's just, that's the logical outcome of what it does. Which also, by the way, led to slave revolts. And, by the way, peasant revolts. Because turns out, owning slaves is really bad for your economy. Like, super duper hardcore bad. Quite literally. Like, what happens, by the way, is, in Rome, they like, a lot of land around Rome was actually managed by farmers. And farmers had the thing of, you know, they produced a certain amount of food that they, for themselves, and what they could sell. Similar to medieval times, okay? However, what happened is, the bigger Rome got, the more slaves they had, the more rich people had slaves. So they could actually, you know, they, without, you know, doing anything themselves, oh no, we're getting into the very spicy social commentary here, could actually, work a lot more land than everyone else. Which then also led to the thing of them making way more money. Meaning outcompeting the small farmers, who then had to sell, you know, their farmland to big people, who could, again, just now hire more slaves to toil away there for, you know, no money, because they just required food. And, oh, so suddenly Rome shot up with people who just looked for work and didn't have anywhere to go, and the outside was just owned by a lot of rich people. Which again led to a big revolt, and also they actually gave land back to farmers, because turns out this is not really that sustainable. So yeah, Roman times were not as advanced as a lot of people always say this, and you know, then the medieval times went down, because during medieval times, do you know how many mills we put up to, at rivers? Because turns out using water to grind flour is really cost effective. And if you have small localized communities, you need that kind of stuff to actually, feed your communities. Because suddenly one mill could actually supply way more farmers. Yeah. History time. Depressing stuff. It's a positive stuff. Oh yeah, there is good Yuri on the on TV this season. I wouldn't say it's toxic. It's just the history time is definitely. I think learning from history is always kind of important. Yes. So a manga that Agonia read and also told me about that it's very good. Actually got adapted, and they have the first 2 episodes out, and it is good. It's like, that's what I like to see. Okay, so first of all, just so you know, it is not, your typical, we're at the high school, Yuri. No, this one is fantasy, dark fantasy even, with blood and gore and death and a lot of trauma. So for everyone who's wondering, the show is called Roll Over and Die. Basically, just a premise. If you ever wanted to have, technically a very typical fantasy show, quote unquote, with, a bit of an upbeat adventurer saving the turbo trauma girl, but both are girls, that is your show. I'm like, I think the upside I like is that it's just it's just a normal show with a lesbian couple, and she's caring about her trauma and is a bit selfish and has also problems, and it's just very cute. Again, I'm kind of amazed that it took this long to just have a quote unquote normal lesbian show. Yeah. It's first 2 episodes, very good. It can make you a bit cry. It's very emotional, but yeah, I will recommend that if you want to watch some Yuri this season. Roll Over and Die. Again, the thing is just it's kind of normal, and that's its strength, because not something you would normally like. Yeah, I mean, okay, you know what? Yes, cue the jokes that all those what's it called? All those very shitty fantasy shows would have been better if the main couple was lesbian. But you know what? I'm sorry, we currently have one of those with, oh hey, I'm up against the world because no one sees my worth and I have a weird ability granted by the gods. And now I'm just, kind of taking revenge on the world and saving that one girl. And it's 2 girls and it works. Like, there's enough I could be mad about, rightfully, but it just genuinely works better. Like, holy shit. I'm going to, I said this before on Blue Sky and so on, but you know what's insane about heterosexual romances in media? Just heterosexual people in main roles. Heterosexual people in main roles, or just in general, heterosexual romances are incredibly bad written. Badly, they just, I do not know what, okay, here's the thing. Okay? I will generally say I'm probably mainly a lesbian. I will say probably more. I kind of am by, like, I can see some guys. I can understand it. Okay, I can totally understand some things. Just Again, why are heterosexual romances in media so bad? Like, I'm going to just put it up like, heads, like, being heterosexual is like your main thing. Why do you suck so badly at writing your own romances? It's the one thing you should be good at, and yet it's ass. Like 99%, it's ass. It's just like, okay, why? Yeah, hey Anna, we're kind of discussing, by the way, sorry, no programming today. I'm just exhausted from everything. Like, we're discussing, I think heterosexual romances and writing, and that they're kind of ass all the time because, this anime season, there is a show called Roll Over and Die, and it's kind of just, you know, okay, it is basically your average, kind of upbeat adventurer saves the turbo trauma girl, and, you know, has a unique ability, everyone looks down on them, and, you know, the world kind of sucks and it's kind of gory thing, but it's two girls. Yes, it is just the most normal anime fantasy show, but it's just lesbian. And they don't make a fuss about that. They just make it a normal show. They even run it like a normal show. There's nothing, oh, but we're two girls. It's just like, no, this girl, like, the main protagonist is like, this girl has beautiful eyes. I'm gonna save her. And it's like, Again,
he wants to make her happy.
Yeah, she wants to make her happy. It's very relatable. It's very cute, and it's just kind of the very funny thing about, you know, all the jokes of if they just replaced the main character with a girl, it would have been better. Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess we have like a literal example for it now. But again, I'm just in awe why so many heterosexual romances are just so bad. Okay, you know what? Good example is actually, right now, fucking Stranger Things. I mean, I know season 5 was in general bad, but like, I will say, season 1 was solid. It was actually pretty good. Season 4 was also good. 2 and 3 were like, 2 was worse than 3. They had moments at best. Holy shit, is the main couple bad. Like, it is incredibly, horrifyingly bad. Like, the main protagonist has more screen time and emotional moments with his best friend than the romance interest. It's just, wow. And you know what the funniest bit is? That show's best pairing of boy and girl are two who are 100% platonic because she's a lesbian and the guy is just like the best himbo friend you can imagine. It is insane to me how they can manage to just be like, you can write great character dynamics. Why are they two so bad? It is insane to me. It's like, oh, you know, last season there was this, how was it called again? My level as the assassin exceeds that of the hero, yada. Also, holy shit, are they bland? They're just like, well, I love her now, and it's like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, so many of them are just like, protagonist has more screen time and character development with his best friend, and then they're just like, well, I guess I love that girl now for some reason. And like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that we have good heterosexual romance.
Yeah. You know what? Even those that I would say are a bit more, to a degree, a bit better, are still kind of bad to a degree.
Okay.
Like, okay, let me...
I can give you something to read.
Okay.
Hitagi and Koyumi.
I wanted to say that those two are actually like an S tier. I wanted to go that as like a good one, but also let me just be clear here, okay? That at the trajectory Monogatari is going, you know that Araragi comes out at trans at the end. At the trajectory we're going,
Probably.
like we already have meme posts about Araragi being miscategorized as a hot butch lady with a raven cut. You know that? She would be hot though. Anyway, by the way, just so you know why I'm joking about that, basically everyone in Monogatari is like, it's basically a girl, and nearly all of them are just lesbians, which is just like, it's kind of insane that we only have like a main protagonist that is a guy, and oh yeah, his child, like the manifestation of his teenage years, adolescence, is a fucking girl. Like, anyway.
Which is sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing. But, you know, settles on girl in the end.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out. I'm just... Anyway. Enough Monogatari talk. Actually, I wanted to talk about, how's it called again? Re:Zero. Like, I'm very sorry. I get the setup. Okay? Here's the thing, though. If you actually compare Re:Zero to Monogatari, in Monogatari, you clearly can see what Araragi does for Senjugahara, in what way, and what she does for him. Like, their relationship definitely goes both ways. This isn't just a one-sided, you know, I do that, you know, I do that, I do this, and fair enough. And then you look at Re:Zero, and they kind of just have to... And I know there's the whole, you know, time loop thing. But let's just be real here. The whole romance basically hinges on the fact that she was nice to him after he was ported into the other world and let him rest on her lap. And he just kind of went, I'm going to move heaven and earth for this girl now.
It isn't bad.
It's not bad. But like, here's the thing. Everything he says Emilia does for him is just like implied. We never really see it. Outside of, you know, the first episode where he rests his head in her lap.
There are some moments.
Yeah. Like, he does a lot for her. And, like, it's genuine. But the problem is just like... Let me put it like this. Yes, they have a relatively close relationship. Yes, they trust each other. But at the current point in time, especially if I'm currently following the show, and this is, by the way, if it's different in the book, maybe they go more in depth there. But the thing is, they do not have moved that far from where they started in the beginning. Mm-hmm. There was no deeper connection. Actually, he kind of behaved like an ass to a degree sometimes. And then you have the whole arc with Rem, it was Ram, right? Rem.
Rem and Tam.
Like, so he legitimately solves Trauma Girl's trauma and then tells her to her face, yeah, sorry, I actually don't love you. loses her memories, maybe not even wakes up again, and you're just like... Again, I'm not saying the main romance is bad. It's just, holy shit, you just set up the better romance setup right there. Do you know how much you fumbled that, actually? Because there is, you know, no really any good counterbalance to that. Like, here's the thing. If you write a romance, the main couple should kind of be the focal point, you know? They should be what this is about, what people connect to. And a lot of them aren't doing that. Even the better ones. So even the very simple setup of, you know, I just want to make this girl happy and show myself that I can do that I'm worth something is already, wow, that's a pretty simple but effective setup that clearly shows why she's going to these ends. Oh god, writing advice. And, you know, probably my own writing isn't even that good. Danda is my favorite thing. Honestly, Dandadan is good. I'd say it's not... Okay. It's not the same level as Monogatari. But holy shit, I've seen so much worse. Dandadan is generally so much better than most. Like, yeah, that's a good one. I think in the show it might come off a little bit as rushed, but... Listen, my main problem with Dandadan is that everything besides the romance is just kind of mid, and they drop the juvenile jokes way too late. I still like Dandadan, and I will watch the next seasons. Again, if the characters in Dandadan are definitely really good. Like, it's definitely kind of... I think we can fairly say Dandadan might be the best straight romance in years. At least in anime adaptation. Like, it's not even a hard trophy, but it's kind of impressive to even say, yeah, no, they got that with no competition. Those two are good. Those two are really good. And also because, you know why they are good, Anna? That's the thing I said about Monogatari. Because in Monogatari, you clearly see why those two very weird aspects of Senjugahara's... Like, Senjugahara is... everyone's like, oh, she's a tsundere. She's not really. Senjugahara is still a traumatized girl that only slowly opens up to the world again. And who also is a bit of a control freak. But on the other hand, Koyomi Araragi is a dumb fuck who will just be there for nearly everyone and is almost a little bit too suicidal. So ironically, having a girlfriend that actually holds him back or solves some problems for him, it actually is like, you will not overexert yourself, or it's just like, you come back to me and you promise it. So, you know, he doesn't do any suicidal bullshit. Or, you know, genuinely puts him into a philosophical deadlock so he doesn't do bullshit. That's what makes this romance good, because you can clearly see all their upsides and flaws interjecting. And in Dandadan, that's the same. They, you know, they have their abrasive sides and their weird sides, but, like, the thing is, that makes them work because they're honest characters and their own flaws and problems still interject. And that's why, again, I don't think they're as good as Monogatari because that one is just really tightly written. But yeah, you can clearly see why both of them work with each other. Best straight romance I ever read had every other character in the narrative going to one side of the relationship and going, so I love and care for you, I will make this bitch pay if necessary, and it still gets me sometimes. I mean, that is just a good setup, you know? Like, here's the thing. The devoted, like, even if it's simplistic, the devoted partner is just like, that shit works just, I'd say. Okay, here's the thing. Monogatari isn't isn't directly a romance, okay? It's a... Okay, how should I put it in the best way? Okay, so Monogatari is like actually the thing you can say is a deconstruction of a lot. Like, for example, it deconstructs, for example, the harem genre. Because, like, again, it kind of starts with a protagonist, and there are more and more friends accumulating around him, all girls. However, this, you know, the show/book starts, and he's in a relationship. Like, they get in a relationship, and that one is set. Period. Nothing will sway that. So it isn't a harem. It kind of has the similar setups and dynamics, but it isn't. But also, it's a very personal story about humans and their experiences, because and that's one of those where I would say you definitely need to watch a bit longer, because the thing is more like you get set up for the characters and their problems, and then later seasons start dismantling that, show off a different perspective. Like the whole appeal of Monogatari is this very intimate, this absolute idea of intimacy, that you keep learning more and more about the inner workings and lives of those characters.
The narrators are also subjective.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. All the narrators are flawed, subjective, and do not know everything. So literally, they lie. They just straight up lie. Just keep that in mind. They're the most unreliable narrators of all time. And that's, you know, by design. But yeah, you know what, Seraph? I think the whole you know, being absolutely devoted to a partner, that also works in gay romance. Actually, you know what's... Now that I realized it, this whole "I will make them pay for you" is like probably the most common used trope in Yuri and Yaoi. And it works. It works really well, actually. That's probably, you know, if you saw me last year stream Shadows of the Damned, is why I genuinely really like that game, and I'm very much interested in Romeo is a Dead Man next, you know, next month, because Garcia Hotspur is just like, he gets thrown into hell. Hell wants to, you know, seduce him at every moment, and he's just like, fuck you, I have my wife that I found in a dumpster. He literally found his girlfriend in a dumpster, by the way. That's just canon. He just found her and was like, this is the love of my life. I will do everything for her, period. And he kills half of hell for her. It is not straight at one time. Simple, but damn does it work. Everyone was going to one character in the romance to threaten the life of their woman, and this what she did to him. Does it hit me as a narrative surprise? Was it basically... Which one, which book do you mean? That actually sounds interesting, by the way. But yeah. In general, I would say, it just works. And like, I mean, hey, Suda is making now a game basically based on Romeo and Juliet, so...
Only go up.
Yeah, it's Suda 51. He finally does a new thing after decades. So I'm very very happy about that. Only thing I'm kind of pissed about is that oh god, he really had to run defense hard now because of basically he does a bit of context. So there is basically Grasshopper Manufacture made a bunch of games over the last years together with other studios. Like for example, they made Let It Die, like a team from them made Let It Die with Gung Ho. And that team actually is now spun off into its own studio. So, like, they're not actually affiliated with Grasshopper anymore. Also, they lost the rights to, how's it called? Lollipop Chainsaw. And, you know, Swery was like, hey, can you collaborate with me a bit on Hotel Barcelona? And you know what? So, one of them turned out to be Chuds, you know, the Lollipop Chainsaw people. So Suda basically had to tell everyone, I am not affiliated with them or endorse their bullshit or their uses of Gen AI or anything. Very used Gen AI, so he was like, I didn't work on that, basically. I do not endorse that. I am not using Gen AI. And you know, then that Let It Die game came out, and he was again, I am not affiliated with that game, and I am not using Gen AI, which is like, oh god, the poor guy, honestly. The Queen's Thief. Okay. I will look into that. But yeah. Very much interested how next month turns out then. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that this current season is like, it's starting strong. Like I think we, Jujutsu Kaisen season 3, already how I said it, called it. The adaptation is already so much better than the manga. Like, by the way, everyone who doesn't know that, like, I do like the manga of, Jujutsu Kaisen, but, I do think the biggest problem it just has is that, it never actually takes the time for, it's one of those shows that just works better animated. Like, and Mappa knows that. Like, you can clearly see that, because, like, I think the final arc is good. It just also, you know, it sometimes felt a bit rushed reading it. Oh, I have actually not seen it yet. Like, again, we watched Roll Over and Die, and very happy about that, but we'll catch up on that probably later.
Yeah, the latest episode you still need to watch.
Yeah. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen. Again, I always said the big strength of the adaptation was they added so many details, small jokes, or just were able to, you know, let people rest on a moment, let people let the situation breathe. Characterization, etc. You know, through music, animation, color. Like the colors are used so well, actually. And yeah, again, everyone who was like a bit miffed by the ending, you're gonna watch the anime and everyone was like, well, that was a fantastic ending, because they're gonna structure it much better now.
I still don't get people being pissed about the ending.
Yeah. I'd say Jujutsu Kaisen right now is a pretty, I'd say it's a good story in the wrong medium, ironically. Ironically. Rarely say that, but yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, that is it. Oh yeah, Tojima Wants to Become Writer is also still going. Oh my god, that series is amazing. By the way, if you haven't watched it yet, fucking watch Tojima Wants to Become Writer. Like, you're sleeping on goddamn peak. It's like an insane show, and it's amazing. And by the way, you will probably not know where it's going, so... So that's also a good one. Like, so we have like 2 really good shonens, Roll Over and Die, like good Yuri. What's still on the what's this season still in? I think I'm forgetting something.
We're waiting for Princess Principal.
That's a movie, and it will probably not come out until like next or the year afterwards.
I'm still waiting.
I know, it's good. It's also good gay shit. I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, not gonna be this season, but I don't know who noticed, but like, holy shit. Fucking Production IG and Sunrise announced they're making a new Armored Trooper Wotom series, which is just like, what? You remembering Armored Trooper Wotoms? Gonna rewatch that one with Pagonia. Okay, Pagonia doesn't know it, and I have to show her because, like, hey, getting people into old mech series because, yay! Oh yeah, some of you who might pop off. I mean, I know a lot of people now got into mechs, but like, let's just read here. A lot of people do not know what Wotoms is, because that is one of those, let me put it like this. If you know what Wotoms was, and, you know, you saw that and also were like, holy shit, Wotoms! You are one of the mecha freaks, okay? You're one of those weirdos that browse the online libraries for, like, the old shit. Because it's one of those, you know, a series that basically happened when, you know, Gundam popped off, OG Gundam, and everyone was like, oh, wow. We can make, like, very mature shows now with mechs. Let's do that. And, I mean, okay, to a degree, this was still Sunrise, but still, like, I'm just very happy they did. Like, yeah, I mean, Sunrise kind of capitalized on that so hard because they were like, oh shit, people like mechas. Let's make more mecha. And, yeah. I don't, you know what? I think what they're claiming is probably not the case, because probably most people have just watched Gundam and moved on. Because, like, again, who the fuck knew Wotoms?
Most newer people haven't seen 2 Gundams.
Yeah. And then I know some of the new fans were like G-Cubes was a geek Gundam. Like, you know what? I'm revoking your Gundam license now. You, go away. Yeah, it is very much, very small. Like, again, I know this because, like, I'm one of those mech freaks that knows Wotoms. Like, no. Okay, you know how much I fucking like Wotoms? Because, first of all, if anyone would have ever given me the rights to Gundam, I was like, I would have just made Wotoms to a degree, because I like the idea of, like, intergalactic wars with mechs. Those are just cool. Or, you know, if anyone was like, oh, hey, how would you, make, like, an actual, you know, sci-fi battlefield game? Like, oh, I don't know, how about, like, an endless war between, you know, I would make it actually 3 nations just for a variety. It's a bit more interesting. You know, 3 intergalactic nations in an endless war. Where I even forgot why it started. Like, oh yeah, that's fucking Wotoms! Oh my god! God, it's... I think it's even funnier. The funniest part about it is though that they were like, that the subtitle for this series is Die Graue Hexe, which is just like, okay, witches are just now part of mecha culture. You know what? For how shit the second part of Witch from Mercury was. Good. I give the series that. You intrinsically tied a very lesbian thing to the mecha genre, and I'm very happy about that. For everyone who doesn't know, Die Graue Hexe is German for the Grey Witch. And you dare not mispronounce it, okay? Fucking hell, I have that too much. If you're like, oh, how do I pronounce this German word? Just ask. I can tell you. It's not hard. But yeah, I'm very interested in that. Also, for everyone who's like, okay, but why should I care? So, the studio that makes this one is actually not Sunrise, it's Production IG, who apparently just said, oh yeah, you know what? How about we bring back Wotoms? Which is just like, okay, Production IG, that's a decision. I'm down for that, especially since you're Production IG. And then they're also like, and how about we put Mamoru Oshii on in the direction chair? And I'm like, okay, so you not only want to bring back like one of the niche classics of the real robot genre, you're also putting the Ghost in the Shell guy in charge. Okay, thank you. I am very excited for that show. Oh yeah, you're gonna have Woodhomes tweeting when it's out, like, Gonna really wanna. How could we? You know what? Usually on Thursdays we had like for a while we had like community watch evenings on the Discord.
Yeah.
We could do that with Woodhomes if people are interested.
Right now you have a time slot streaming.
I know, but we can reschedule.
Yeah.
If people are interested. It was actually very fun going through Strike Witches with a group. You all should also watch Strike Witches, just saying. Now is still the best time to do it. Whee! Sorry, this will never get old. Never. What? Why did they get a vehicle kill suddenly? Okay. But yeah, there's always time to watch Strike Witches. Yes, it is! Like, I'm generally, like, I know, roll over and die. Good. But you know what? You want to just have, like, the full power of 11 lesbians just being very gay at you? Watch Strike Witches. It's sadly not a polycule, but it is genuinely, I think, 5 couples. So, 5 very good couples, by the way. And you know, they all do the whole thing of, you know, oh, their weird personalities are actually really complementing each other. It's a good show. It has 3 great seasons. And a fantastic spin-off even, so... yeah. I don't know. Could propose that. Getting original Wotoms through in the Discord. Then I would cut short on Thursdays. You know what? This isn't something we need to do fast anyway. That's a different topic. Yeah, would be an idea. Because, like, hey, the best anime are watched together. And I know that because there are certain anime I watched at least 3 times with different groups, and they're always great. Like, for example, Strike Witches, I watched. I mean, I watched it alone, and I watched it with Agonia, and then I watched it with friends, and it's always fantastic because it's always interesting to see what other people think of each episode after you saw them. Then you have oh yeah, Higurashi. Saw that back in school with like roommates, etc. Just like we were like in a dark room. There was a laptop in front of us, like a small screen, and we were just like locked in. Let's get the trauma watching. And I saw it with Agonia multiple times, and it was still fantastic. Because, I mean, hey, if you watch together a series with someone and you can cuddle, that's just good. It's like...
Date life.
Oh yeah, date... Ooh. I'm really happy I showed you Date Life. Oh yeah, holy shit, Date Life is a straight romance. It shouldn't, but it's genuinely one of those anime where like...
They somehow managed to adapt this story into a linear anime without running out of money.
I mean, in the end, they ran a little bit out of money. Yeah. But they still managed. You know what? It's kind of insane to think about the fact that Kurumi's songs just dropped. I'm like, how? She's best girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, it was a good show.
Yeah.
And also one of those. Wow, this sounds trashy, and then you watch it and like, wow, this somehow works because they give a shit in writing.
Yeah, the premise could have been easily very, very bad.
Holy shit, could it have been bad? Yeah. I mean, oh, you know what? I wouldn't say bad. Just mediocre and uncomfortable at times. But again, they had writers that knew what they were doing there, so... Yeah. Similar to Strike Witches. Good show. I don't know. It's just like, oh. I think 2026 might be a good anime year. Might be. Oh, I forgot. Isn't also like the Iron-Blooded Orphans movie coming out?
The one in the same universe?
In the same universe that adapts the gacha game. What?
Could be.
Maybe. It's the Iron-Blooded Orphan people again. They made the basically last consistently good Gundam show. It's hard as it is to say. Last consistently good original Gundam show, I might say. Like, we still had, you know, the island of Kuku, but that was basically adapting again. Okay, how should I put this in the best way? So if you ever see you know, Mobile Suit Gundam, the island of Kuku, I don't know how it's called again. That is actually a very funny story about how that episode happened. Because this was actually an episode in the original show. Because if you watch the show nowadays, like on Netflix or so, and not Netflix, like Crunchyroll, etc., they basically come down to Earth and then are in the desert. It's a weird jump, but you don't think about it until you learn there was an episode in between. Problem is, you know, about them actually landing over the ocean, then coming to an island, and then learning there is an old defector from Zeon there that, you know, just kind of quit the war and cares about orphans. And, you know, then Zeon tries to attack them, and he defends it with his old Zaku. Like, it's, you know, thematically good episode. Problem. They outsourced it. It's straight ass. Like, you know, if you watch the original Gundam show, and, you know, sometimes they have, like, you know, some of the best visuals, of the 70s, like the late 70s in anime, then you also see how see them reuse a bunch of footage because, you know, you still had to stretch the budget to a degree. That's just a thing, you know? The problem is, this episode had no budget. It's horribly bad. And this is why they just pulled it. And now thought, hey, how about we turn this episode into a full movie? Yeah. Yeah, interesting. It's a good movie, by the way. It's just quite literally Gundam adapting Gundam. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just very interested where everything will go. Tomorrow is Vicky 3, right?
Yes.
Good. I didn't forget it. Didn't forget the spaghetti. Oh well. Also, I'm about to make Zozona this weekend, which is gonna be so fucking banger. Oh. It's like... It's so funny. Like, here's the thing. I like myself a good... how's it called? A good bologna. You know? It's a fantastic sauce. Zozona. Pasta alla Zozona. Basically, I think Zozona kind of translates into roughly like a big mess. So yeah, just so you know, this is kind of the best Roman/Italian pasta sauce I know of, because, like, you know, every region in Italy has like their own way of making pasta sauces, and Rome has like a pretty heavy one, you know. Anyway, like, I know I like Borgo Bologna, a good, like, great sauce, etc. You know the drill. Like, just slow simmered for hours. The thing is just, Zozona is basically someone mixed all the main pasta sauces of Rome of the Roman region together, and basically you use like guanciale, or, you know, pancetta, anything to subset. How's it called? Substituted, like, you know the deal. It's kind of hard to get guanciale outside of Italy if you're not living in like certain regions of the USA. Anyway, so you start with some guanciale in a pan, and then you put in like hot Italian sausage, and you fry it. So a bit, you know, a little bit like carbonara. Just, you know, the sausage meat. Or, you know, by the way, you can also just spice some beef if you don't like pork. That's fine. Actually tastes to a degree better, in my opinion. Different topic. So, and then you put in some, you know, tomato sauce. Simmer that again a bit more. Then you put in your pasta. And then you take it off the heat, because what comes next is basically, if you ever made carbonara, you know, you take pecorino romano or parmigiano reggiano. That's your choice. What's easy to get? You know, grind it fine. Pepper in, like, good amount of pepper, by the way. And then mix it with eggs into, like, the typical egg slurry. And then sauce off the heat. Mix the eggs in, you know, like a carbonara. And then you have, like, this really insanely meaty and creamy pasta sauce. It's so good. Holy shit. Like, genuinely, it's one of those, you eat it and you're like, fuck. Flavor heaven.
Stay with me! Come on!
So, I actually can highly recommend making that sauce. It's just like, yeah, if you like carbonara, this is, you know, but you think like, oh, what if carbonara was just more rich? That's that. So, it's Italian, so in general, it is part of the flavor profile. Sorry about that. Yeah, like the that's why you also use something like guanciale, which is like a spiced. Yeah, that's just like, it kind of makes the base you mix together, so. But yeah, very flavorful sauce, actually. Absolutely love that. And it's pretty quick, again, compared to ragu bologna, where you, like, simmer it for, like, 2 hours. It's much faster. In general, I would say, learning how to make, like, pasta dishes the quote-unquote right way is always kind of important, in my opinion, because, like, usually everyone, you know, had ideas about flavor profiles with them, and, I mean, for example, I know a lot of people actually do not know how to make, an actual ragu bologna, like a sauce bolognese, which is interesting in my opinion, because everyone thinks, oh, it's just a meat sauce, which is like, no. Okay, so basically, what basically a lot of people do is like, oh, I'm making a sauce bolognese, and then it's like, you know, minced meat, or dried oregano, dried basil, garlic, etc. But all of it is actually not in it. It's a milk sauce. It's a meat milk sauce. And it's one of those, if you can do it, yeah. Okay, so, by the way, if you want to know how to make, like, from the quote-unquote real recipe, oh, well, fun fact, the milk is actually the key thing to a good ragu bologna. It's like, basically, how it works is, you make a pan, and then you fry in some pancetta. So, like, actually not guanciale. It's just like, actually like just a dried pork. Like, I think it's uncured and unsmoked. So, if you find something similar, It's not bacon, by the way. You need to check. I think there are some Spanish hams that are close to that, but anyway. But yeah, basically you put that in as the base, fry it a little bit. Then you go and then you make a sofrito. For anyone who doesn't know, sofrito is basically it's the Italian version of a mirepoix. God, hi bot. Okay, for everyone who doesn't know what that is, basically you take onion, carrot, celery. Very fine dice, like fine, you know, restaurant quality. Difference is mirepoix is the basis for French dishes and uses butter. Sofrito uses olive oil. That's the flavor difference of the oil that you use for that. Yeah, olive oil, veggies in, make, you know, and fry them on low heat. You don't want them burnt because that makes it bitter. You want them, you know, cooked through. Then you put in your meat, turn up the heat, because, you know, if you want the meat to, like, fried beef, because frying is flavor. And then you put in, like, a glass of red wine. Optionally also white wine, but, you know, usually it's red wine. And let that cook until, you know, the wine, the smell isn't there anymore. And then you put in tomato paste, mix tomato sauce, mix in tomato paste, tomato sauce, mix in, and then basically you let it simmer on like a lower heat for 2 hours. Wait, chicken or veggie broth would also be like this. The tomato sauce, and then the rest chicken or veggie broth. Important. Let it simmer, and after an hour, you put in like a cup/glass of milk, and then let it simmer again for another hour, and then, you know, salt, pepper to taste. Also a bit of nutmeg, in my opinion, but that's how you make sauce bolognese, actually. Like, it's a really rich sauce, and actually nowadays it's, you know, made with minced meat. Originally this was actually made with intestines to a degree. Intestines and, you know, leftover tough cuts. This is why it cooks so long, because you want the tough meat to just, like, you know, react in the heat and, you know, melt away and create like this, so that, you know, it's actually edible, and, you know, it's not edible, it's like, it's not tough anymore, it's like nice and soft. That's why you made it like that. Hey, cooking! Any other thing about Italian cooking you want to know? I know a few things.
Grab what you can.
Tips for pizza though. It really depends what kind of pizza you're making. Like, usually, you know, you should try and have a higher hydration because that makes it airy. But pizza dough really depends on again, the style. Like, okay, for example, if you make, for example, a more, you know, a New York style pizza. And by the way, I really like New York style pizza. It's like a very, you know, simple crust. The thing is, you also need to think about what kind of cheese you want to put on the dough. Like, for example, Neapolitan dough is light and airy and high hydration, so it forms bubbles. New York style, less so. But also, you do not put the same mozzarella on the same pizza. Thing is, though, if you cannot make any of those yourself, like for example, you don't have a pizza oven or you have a pizza steel in your oven, then that is actually kind of mute, because then you should actually make a pan style pizza more akin to a Sicilian / Detroit style pizza. Or like, by the way, it's always funny when people say, you know, oh, pan style is not really traditional. It is. Those types of pizza has been made because, like, for example, you want to have a more of a like very airy focaccia bread dough, and not really a thing you should need to knead a lot, I would say. Because again, the moment you make pan style, it basically becomes all about the dough, and you want it to be nice and fluffy and crusty.
Take what you can carry!
Yeah, I can't even tell you that much about that, because, like, yeah, the problem is more like, what kind of pizza can you make? And then you need to also check, like, what you like more. Like, again, I think a good example is actually the difference in cheese here. Because, for example, so Neapolitan style pizza uses fresh mozzarella. I think everyone would say, oh, fresh mozzarella with buffalo milk. That's like the best, right? No. So again, for like Neapolitan style pizza, great. Because like you know, just put it on the pizza, like you rip it onto the pizza dough, you put it in the oven, and then it just bakes. And again, Neapolitan style is like really high temperatures, really fast. Now, again, if you can't do that, you know, really high, really fast, you better opt for a New York style pizza. Because the difference is this. So while there are some pizzerias that still have wood fire ovens in New York, and some of the first ones had, the main thing that differentiates New York style pizza from Neapolitan style in how they diverged is the method of making the pizza. Basically, if you wanted to make a pizza oven in New York, and you know, back then if you wanted to have a wood fire oven, you actually had to like build it in, and that was a problem. Then, you know, with advancing times, there was the gas-fired oven. The thing you usually see in pizzerias nowadays. The difference here is that gas-fired ovens, especially back then, were just much more convenient. bigger, better to control, etc. But also crucially, lower in heat. So to actually get the pizza baked, it needed to bake longer. And this is actually kind of good because, like, again, if you have a pizza, like a pizza steel in your oven, you should rather make a New York style pizza in it, because you will not get it like really fucking hot like a Neapolitan pizza oven. So go for a lower temperature. And again, here's the big difference. You should have something like the difference is in the cheese, because ever wondered how like if you see an American style pizza, the cheese is so evenly spread, while in Neapolitan it's always just flocks. Again, Neapolitan rips like fresh mozzarella, puts on the dough, cooks really fast at really high temperatures. This is how the cheese survives. Americans have to cook longer, and also upside is the mozzarella they get is a low moisture mozzarella from cow's milk, and that mozzarella is actually really good for pizza cheese because it spreads evenly, tastes really well, and stays much more stable at high temperatures for a long time. So yeah, if you want to have you make a pan pizza, you want to have more of you should look into focaccia doughs. High hydration, not a lot of kneading, like at least 2-3 folds. That should be enough for stability for focaccia. They are all about the dough. But if you want to have an airy pizza in your home oven and you do not have a pizza oven, go for a New York style. And there again, make a big batch, divide them, put them in the containers, let them cold ferment overnight. They're gonna be so much better then, because that dough needs fermentation time. Hope that answered it. And by the way, you can actually, if you're wondering, you can actually turn nearly everything into a pasta sauce. I know, sounds crazy, but it's actually doable. Like, if you're wondering, yes, there are actually Italian recipes for pasta sauce out of, well, broccoli or even potatoes. Which kind of makes sense if you think about it, that, a nation where you cook a lot of pasta sauces, that when they get the new vegetable, they just try turning it into pasta sauce. Hey, free candle cells. How are you doing? Fuck. Real going well this time.
I knew you had my back.
There we go. Yeah, but again, if you want to turn anything into pasta, it's actually kind of simple. So basically, you only need a pan. You need to know what your basis kind of is. And then, if it's a vegetable, cut it fine, fry it, maybe even, if it's doable, mash a bit of it, and then you put in pasta, a bit of pasta water, makes it done. You have your sauce. That's generally how a lot of sauces work in Italian pasta sauces work. And by the way, yes, you can actually use cream if you just want to make your own. Like, there are, you know, Italian sauces that use cream, like famously the one with vodka. By the way, you can also not use vodka for that, because like if you're wondering why is there a pasta sauce with vodka from Italy? Like, here's the thing, it's actually a marketing stunt. I know, it's not even like a very classic Italian dish, it was a marketing stunt because, you see, during the 50s and 60s, when cream was introduced, nah, I'm not playing the Battle Royale. I hate Battle Royale. Also, I'm probably also ending after this one. But yeah, the thing is, if you're ever wondering when people say, "Oh, don't use cream in Italian pasta," cream was actually used a lot of times in pasta, especially because like during the 50s and 60s, this was a new thing. You need to keep in mind, Italy was a very rural, very poor country during both world wars, and afterwards it really started to industrialize, and also, you know, due to American occupation and all that, they actually had access to a bunch of other foods. In a way, this is probably also where spaghetti carbonara came from. So if anyone ever comes at you and says, "Oh, spaghetti carbonara is this really old workers' dish," and no, it wasn't. It's no historical evidence for that, by the way. The most logical thing we know of is that it's basically the Italian equivalent of army stew from Korea. So it actually happened after, you know, World War II. Wait, vodka on pasta? Yeah, vodka sauce. Basically, you know, you take some pancetta, or, you know, pancetta. Yeah, sometimes you can also use bacon or, you know, guanciale. Like, again, just a very simple pork basis. Fry that up a bit with some onions. Then you put in like vodka, like just like a small bottle or like a glass of vodka. Let that cook off because, you know, alcohol goes away. And then you put in tomato sauce, and you put in like tomato sauce, cook a little bit more, and then put in some heavy cream just to round it out, and then you put in your pasta, and that's vodka sauce. If you're wondering, oh wait, is the alcohol important here? Actually, yes. See, the thing is, by the way, this is not actually relevant to vodka, because like, while in wine, a lot of times the basis of wine itself, and like, you know, the fact that it's made from grapes, etc., is also there to add a fruity note. One of the key things is that if, you know, when you cook off alcohol and such, there are still like 3 ethanols, and the three ethanols bind to certain compounds in tomatoes, and actually enhance the flavor of it, like make it more fruity. So that's why, I mean, yeah, the point is that you cook. The actual point is that you cook it off in the beginning. That, you know, that you can have the compounds that combine with the tomato sauce, but it's not about actually having a sauce that makes you drunk. Fun fact, if you're wondering, yeah, why vodka? It was a marketing stunt, because basically some salesman was tasked, hey, sell vodka in Italy, and basically he was like, okay, I mean, then you can still add vodka if you want to. I don't care, actually. The point is that you put it in the beginning. And yeah, the point was he basically made this sauce to be like, hey, you can cook with this. And again, because the interesting thing is that vodka is basically, you know, doesn't have a strong flavor of its own. So, you know, it actually enhances the flavor of tomato sauce. And this is, you know, together with cream, you can actually make a very very nice sauce with that. That's a bit of the science behind that. Fun fact, some people tried around, and apparently gin actually works better than vodka in this recipe. Again, this wasn't a recipe that was chosen because, you know, vodka is the best thing to do it. It was chosen because he had to sell vodka. And then he, you know, we're telling people, well, look at this new sauce you can make with it that will make everyone love it. And it's a good sauce, actually. So, you know, that's that. But yeah, yeah, don't let anyone ever tell, oh, there's no cream in Italian sauces. There is. Italians use cream. Again, they also use milk in sauce bolognese. I think the worst thing we have right now about Italian food is that so much of it, due to the internet, has become mythologized. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess good advertisement, but like a lot of it is just plain wrong. Like, for example, the whole, oh, there is no cream in carbonara. Now, here's the thing. Granted, I do like the version without cream to a degree more. It's still bullshit. Because, as I said before, carbonara is not even a traditional dish. You could say that, but also like, hey Ryan, no, I'm telling you, carbonara is not a traditional Italian dish. There is no historical evidence for that. And I got people that blocked me over that, which is just very fucking funny. Because it's like, oh yeah, I'm here to learn that, you know, I'm people are like, oh, we need to talk truth and be honest, and I'm like, yep, carbonara isn't an old Italian dish. Block! I can't stand this heresy. I'm like, God dang it, you're a spine, it's carbonara. But like, that's the thing, you know, when you do the whole, well, you know, all those Americans or, you know, Europeans cook carbonara wrong with cream. But I know it better, and then, you know, you learn, oh, wait, you were also duped. That, yeah, that's not the best thing to happen. But yeah, for everyone who doesn't know, basically there is no historical evidence of carbonara being a thing. And, like, by the way, if you ever wonder how can that be, you remember how I told you that Italy was a very, very rural country with, like, really to no industry before World War I, and even and only after World War II, like, really ramped that up? Like, this was legitimately one of their problems of just being an army. Okay, the other problem they had is incredibly inept generals, but we can talk about that later. Or, you know, their main tank, you know what? I just show you the main Italian tank in World War II later. You're gonna love it. You're just gonna love it. Anyway, it's a very, very rural thing, and you need to keep in mind, most peasants, or, you know, poor workers, did not eat meat in most countries. Especially those that did not industrialize fast. Period. Especially during medieval and Victorian times. No meat. That's why pasta and such was such a big thing, because it was a simple product you can make from flour, and it was shelf stable. Incredibly long shelf stable. And the big dishes we remember now that use meat, those were made once or twice a year, like at specific, you know, celebratory events. They're great and, you know, and all that, but like, if anyone ever comes to you and like, oh yeah, you know, the people that, you know, made coal, that's why it's called carbonara, you know, in the Roman region, as was this workers' dish. No. Yeah. I mean, there are a bunch of traditional Italian foods, but like, trust me when I say this, you will actually find more fish in pasta sauces than meat in the traditional Italian library. Which makes sense, right? Like, for example, you know, if you live down in Florence, or like, you know, in one of the coastal regions, and you put like, you can just put down clay pots in the ocean and then lift them up, and then there's a fucking octopus in it, and you can just cook that octopus with, you know, tomato sauce and other shit in that clay pot, and that's gonna be your meat. Not cow. Yeah, like, a lot of shit later came due to the USA. Also, important thing, the whole, oh, Marco Polo brought the noodles over from Asia, and they developed this big traditional cuisine. Also bullshit. That happened because, again, as you pointed out, in the USA, they wanted to sell pasta to people. But a lot of Europeans, because, you know, British people, and I'm gonna say it, most of the Americans in the coastal regions back then were British people still. And they're slightly ignorant. They were like, oh, Italian food, that's immigrant stuff. And, you know, so they literally went and were like, well, actually, it's this mystical oriental thing that the immigrants formed into a long-standing... Like, they fucking attached Orientalism to pasta to sell workers' food because it was cheap and shelf-stable. Yeah, about that. And if you're wondering, no, like, pasta has been long a thing, like, for a long ass time. Like, people, like, we know Etruscan recipes, and if you're like, who are Etruscans? Etruscans are basically the civilization before Romans in Italy. Okay, they were the main civilization in Italy before Romans. And Etruscans, so they had dishes that, and correct me if this sounds familiar, okay? So they made a batter out of flour, and then they fried it for a little bit, cut up that, you know, now a bit more thicker dough, and then they boiled it in salted water, and they made like a paste out of herbs and nuts, and then put those cooked dough pieces on a plate with those pastes and mix them. You know, you actually ate it with like a little a stick that you poked in. But does this sound familiar, might I ask you? Does that sound familiar? And also, like, pasta / noodles, they were known all over the Arabic world. Because, like, Arabic world, you need to travel through the desert and also the Silk Roads, and you need long, dry, shelf-stable foods. Oh wow, those dough pieces can be dried and then reheated in water and then eaten. Yeah, pasta was like known a long time ago, and it traveled all over the Mediterranean. Like, pasta wasn't, you know, something Marco Polo had to bring back from, you know, China. Europe developed pasta all on their own. No worries about that. But yeah. Well, yeah, the thing about carbonara, again, it's not really a traditional recipe because, again, they were like, oh, in the old times, all those, they didn't have meat. Those were like the poorest of the poor people. They're not gonna make some pork shit. Fucking America had a big pork industry. Like, I think that's also why they probably caught on, because, like, if you actually look into, especially during the Victorian age and before that, into, like, America and England, there was a huge salted pork industry. Not in Italy. Not in mainland Europe. It existed, but it was not the same on the same level. And yeah, again, no historical evidence or any records of carbonara being a thing before the 60s. The 60s. You know, the 60s. A thing that is still, like, from a cultural standpoint, an instantly recognizable period of human time. Let it just sink in for a second. The 60s. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, oh, so the first Italian recipe is not from the 60s about carbonara, it's from the 80s. Oh, I get that. Have a good night. But yeah, if you just want to have the quick rundown, basically, the first carbonara recipe that we know of that also calls it carbonara is from the 1960s, from Chicago. Yep. The first written evidence of carbonara is from Chicago. That's a twist, right? But anyway, and then, you know, basically the first recipe from Italy was actually written by the first Italian 3-star chef. So, wow, that guy must have known his shit, right? And truth be told, yes, he does. Like, he's the whole reason, like, Italian cuisine spread so much, you know, outside of Italy and, like, became this, you know, restaurant, level thing that, you know, that we even have Italian restaurants all over the world because they basically, a lot of people learned at him and then spread Italian cooking outwards. This is, like, due to him, Italian cooking is seen on the same level as French cooking. So he uses cream. Yeah. The father of modern Italian cuisine. And his recipe says, fucking use cream. Yeah, not so traditional all of a sudden, right? Which is kind of insane that I think, you know, that there are so many, like, Italian YouTubers like, you need to do it like that, else you disrespect the tradition. I'm like, you know, you all would not be here due to this guy, and you're not even putting a little bit respect to his, like, name and recipe? It's kind of insane. Anyway, yeah. Italy. They've made some good recipes, but carbonara was probably not this long-standing traditional thing because, again, meat and eggs? Meat and eggs and cheese? Like, cheese? Yes. Yes. Probably not pecorino romano in that same amount, but, like,
best you can. Come on.
Ew. Oh, wow, what? Oh, what? I genuinely think, when it comes to reporting, gaming news websites need to get their shit together. Because, like, when, because, like, I think a lot of them always try to be clever with like, let me just be clear here. Clickbait, headlines are bad. But, like, I think the gaming industry is, like, particularly bad at, like, everything right now. It's like here's the thing. I think over the past 5 years or so, I think so many websites just have lost the plot completely. To a degree. Like, in terms of reporting, I keep seeing, like, so many just repeat, like, absolute insane Reddit garbage. You know, drummed up as everyone is angry, and like, no, you're listening to Reddit, the most manipulated website in human history. Yeah, well, no, it's now Twitter, but anyway. So that's the thing. And like, on that point, the fact that a lot of people, like, a lot of devs are just like, oh, no, we need to stay on, you know, the website from the fascist. That, you know, where, you know, any every picture you can upload can just be instantly manipulated and just regularly produces child pornography. I'm just like, oh yeah, that that somehow is also just not any worthwhile covering. Or, you know, Russian companies try to get more and more into the games market because, you know, selling games is still one way to get money into the country due to the whole due to sanctions. But I guess that's also not worthwhile talking. More like, wow, everyone is totally happy about this game that suddenly got announced and is, you know, totally backed by fucking Gazprom. So, also not worthwhile talking about. But no, we get endlessly, hey, the community is angry, then, you know, just cite one, like, incredibly brain-dead Reddit post, or Half-Life 3 is coming! Shut up! Where are your priorities? It's bafflingly out of touch with everything. Like, I know, you know, we had, like, Gamergate, like, over a decade ago, and it's like, that was just straight up right-wing bullshit. But it's kind of insane to just, like, see over the last 5 years of them just kind of becoming completely detached from reality and just thinking, like, hey, how can I make this headline just the most confusing it can be? Because, like, when I see the headline, oh, 4th biggest German publisher is banned by Sony, I'm like, that's the big story. Oh, it's bullshit. You just said bullshit. Because what basically happened, okay? Which I even admit, it's a technicality, okay? Basically, someone from Germany basically registered a company as a publisher and got a publishing license for the PSN. Then proceeded to just flood the PSN store with AI slop and shovelware. So Sony banned this account, like this one small person, okay? And removed the games because they were garbage. They did the right thing. But you know, then some clever one was like, oh, if I just look up the volume of released games, I can say they're bigger than they are. No, it's just they're just straight up harmful reporting. Like,
support on a marked objective.
This is tiring. Like, you know, I'm probably a bit pedantic when it comes to stuff. But I think when it comes to talking about, you know, topics, be it from gaming to politics, I think being pedantic is actually really fucking important. Because, like, if you are not someone who actually looks at the details of just anything, and you know, you don't just like, oh well, this roughly sounds like this and that, and then it's like there are a lot more fine-grained things to that. You actually feed the information distortion of our time. Like, like, that's bad, you know? That's bad. It's just also irresponsible, like really irresponsible.
Come on! Hey! Hang in there!
I don't know. Making, like, writing about things in a responsible way is, in my opinion, just a very, very big part of how you need to engage with the world. And it means, like, you know, catchy headlines are fine. Misleading headlines are really bad. Like, again, we live in times where Gen AI is taking over so much, and I'm like, especially nowadays, we need to be more and more vigilant about how we talk about information, because if we do not do that, this idea of everything becoming more and more simplified will just become the norm. And that's unhealthy as shit. Like, quite literally, we do not want to live in a world where everything is basically we don't want to live in a world where, you know, everything is just vibes based, because that's what it is, you know. Like, it has already become more vibes based beforehand, you know, and it was bad. It's just now it also becomes more and more vibes based with every single you know, with every single day, and like especially, you know, people using Gen AI, because it's just its own regurgitating bullshit machine. And we need to have like a very hard and clear line of this needs to be like, you need to be clear about everything. And I know everyone, you know, there's always a lot of, oh, maybe, you know, we can be a bit more clear and say, but no, some things need to be said clear. And also, if you report on things, you need to be very, very precise about what is actually happening. Oh well. Oh, I see the new Resident Evil 9 information is out. I guess I will watch that. 12 minutes featuring new Resident Evil Requiem gameplay. Okay, we already went over time, but chat, should I react to the Resident Evil showcase? It's 12 minutes. No. Anyway, I think just like, have a good night, everyone, and see you all around tomorrow for Biggie 3 and hopefully much more talking. Yeah. Bye!